Hello, this is Terry Elton, and this video is an overview of the book Simple Habits for Complex Times by Jennifer Garvey Berger and Keith Johnson. Jennifer and Keith are consultants that live in New Zealand and are the co-founders of Cultivating Leadership. And this book is based on their experience of working with different organizations around the world. Now, this book contributes to and builds upon other work in the fields of complexity, in communication, in organizational change, and leadership development. Specifically, this book is about what it means to live and lead in unpredictable future. They acknowledge and appreciate the work of so many, and they're particularly interested in the leadership aspect. And they realize that we have not arrived, but we are learning more each day. The foundation of this book is on the premise that we are in a new land, and this new land operates with a different set of choices. So thinking specifically about leadership, they say this: learning to thrive in this new world is no simple enterprise, no quick trip to a theme park about complexity. Instead, it is a long and scenic hike through the wilderness, wading through rushing waters that might unsettle you and going into forests so deep you can't see what's coming next. To thrive in this wilderness and to come to love it, you'll need new muscles and new ways of making sense of the world around you, new practices that will augment your current approach. In this new land, they discovered the rise in volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And they say this: we found that this rise in complexity, ambiguity, volatility, and uncertainty is not just lingering around the edges of our workday. It is everywhere. Coping with the changes requires whole new ways of making sense of the world and of taking action to make a difference. Some of these new ways are about how we have conversations and learn from one another. Others are about how we engage with problems. And still others are about how we plan for an unknown future. Now, the first step of this journey is getting leaders to think in a new way. And one of the most unsettling and distinctive features of this new land is that it operates from what's possible rather than what's probable. Because things are less tethered to the constraints of the past, there is far more possibilities available. Yet making the shift from probability to possibility is harder than we'd like it to be. Why? Because our minds are wired to categorize and constrain. This is how we've learned. We learn from the past, and we take into consideration the risks and the rewards as we make the decisions today. In fact, many of us that are in leadership positions have actually gotten where we are because we've become really good at this work. Yet using the past as a kind of measure for what's likely in the future actually constrains the possibilities, especially in the midst of uncertainty and ambiguity. So to move forward and to lead in the midst of this volatility and ambiguity and uncertainty and complexity, we must unlearn our old ways, and we must open ourselves to learn new mindsets and habits. So to lead in complex times, we need a new pattern for how we think and how we act. Learning these new patterns will not only help us navigate the unpredictable future we face today, but it will also prepare us for the increase in complexity that's likely to come in the future. These new patterns for thinking and acting are about talking differently, about different ways of gathering information, and different ways of building strategies and plans. To develop these new patterns, the authors offer 3 habits to help us change our mindset. It's asking different questions, it's taking into account different perspectives, and it includes seeing the whole system. Using an unfolding case of leaders in actual real-life situations, the authors unfold the messiness of what it is to lead, but also the opportunities to rely on these habits and to create new patterns. So, complexity is about getting our heads around what is possible rather than what is probably going to happen. This shift is core to this book. And this book is a guide to explore new habits, which will allow us as leaders to think and act differently in the midst of complexities. In the upcoming videos, I will go deeper into each of these habits and practices that they have for leading in the midst of complexities. But I hope this introductory video has given you a taste for this book and if it might be a good fit for you in your leadership.